And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, health, nutrition, marketing, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, where our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, but most importantly, we want to engage you in an effort to help you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Pull out your smartphone, save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it. 813-670-7372. 813-670-7372. Program that number in your phone. Don't forget our number. Bookmark our website, consumerqb.com. That's our website, blog site, a plethora of information available for you at consumerqb.com. Now, you can see all of our 80-plus show partners, expert contributors that we bring on the air, that we vetted, that are going to help you win no matter what you're facing. Check out the newly designed consumerqb.com. And shout out to Teo Leonard there, the web design ninja, for putting that together for us. And we are Intelligent Talk Radio. I've got some intelligent folks here in studio with me today. We're going to go around the horn now and make our introductions. Back in studio, my friend Matt DiMaio. He's the founder of the Maestro Method. Welcome back in, sir.
Thank you, Brandon. Always a great pleasure to be here today.
Yeah, absolutely. What are we going to talk about today?
Well, recently I've been doing a lot more speaking and training for groups that need to build sales forces. As a matter of fact, the Tampa Bay Business Owners Association had me in a couple of times. I did their leader cast with Chris Kremitzos
nice.
2 weeks ago on Friday, and taught about the power of the mind and how you can use that to build business. But on Tuesday this week, I actually debuted a brand new training called Selling's Greatest Secrets, finally
nice.
Revealed.
I like that.
This is not magic. It just works like it.
Awesome. I love that. Great group of people over there. Chris and Katie, the TBBO, they're great people. And it sounds
promoters.
Like you're helping business owners out there. So we love that.
Absolutely. And they had a packed house for me. So it was wonderful.
I love it. Great group, great people. And also in studio, Fred Muth. He's design and sales for Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Welcome back in, sir.
Well, thank you, Brandon. The Tin Man is back.
AKA the Tin Man.
Tin Man, the boom is back, Brandon. Have you noticed?
I have.
You must be closing real estate deals right and left, I'm hoping.
Things are rocking, man. We're excited about Tampa Bay.
I'm closing patio screen room deals right and left. I'm hoping that the real estate guys are moving as quick as me.
Yeah, man. That's awesome.
It's all working out. My complaint is the same complaint. The cement mixer truck, the dump truck, I can't get to the job in time. Well, you know what? Every construction company loves it.
Well, between that and the permitting departments, right?
You just took the wind out of my sail. Do we have to go there right now? Later on in the show, we'll go to the dark side of construction.
The dark side. AKA the dark side.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah, you want to, when you're looking at that, you're, the permitting is a frustration. We had Mayor Baker on the show last week. We talked a little bit about that, and we've got Mayor Kreisman coming on next week as well. So we'll ask him more about those questions and what we're doing to try to speed that process up, because we are booming. Things are booming right now. We want to make sure, construction starts are up, the additions for the beautiful screen rooms and patios that you guys are putting on, pool cages, all that cool stuff as well. We're also expecting John Grant with Eagled LED lighting. He's running a little bit late here today. He's probably stuck behind one of those trucks you talked about.
Cement mixer truck.
Yeah. So helping you win in any marketplace, making you just a bit more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you. We're going to help you win. And we always start our show off with a little personal development. And, for you business owners out there, folks out there looking to, maximize their dollars, right? So have you ever sat down and calculated your desired hourly income? So if you, let's say, for example, you had a target goal of $100,000. You divide that by about 2,000 working hours in the year, you're going to come up with $50 per hour. So if you think about that, with the focus being on Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule, right? So what you want to do is you want to break down everything that you do on a daily basis. If you were to write out 1 through 10, If you take those top 2 tasks, that's going to contribute to 80% of your success, 80% of your prosperity, and you're meeting your goals. So focus on the vital few, eliminate time wasters. Sometimes they say social networking is social not working, right? Focus on sales and prospecting, having quality conversations. If you're in sales, you might want to extend that conversation before you hang up next time. You might want to think a layer deeper, ask them a little bit more about the personal questions and ways that you can also develop those associations in your mind, which is what Matt's going to talk a little bit about as well. And you want to make sure you're doing your follow-up via text message, via emails, maybe even social media now. With Platinum MVP Realty, we use an intelligent phone system that allows us to basically understand more about their social media habits, their Facebook pages, their Instagrams, a lot of cool things that we're doing now in marketing. It's amazing what you can do. And, there's opportunities to leverage your time, different ways that you can leverage with virtual assistants and inside sales reps and things of that nature. So there's your 2-minute drill, your audible for the day from the Consumer Quarterback. And we're going to help you win. We're giving a shout out to Brio Tuscan Grill at their International Plaza. Brio Tuscan Grill is one of our restaurant partners, and they have amazing food, excellent Italian food. Brio Tuscan Grill, located off of Bay Street next to the Renaissance Tampa Hotel, International Plaza. And it's 2223 Northwest Shore Boulevard. At Brio Tuscan Grill, the International Plaza Mall, you will discover an Italian menu, drinks, and a cozy atmosphere, bringing you the pleasures of a Tuscan country villa to Tampa. And we invite you to check out one of our official restaurant partners is Brio Tuscan Grill, and it's amazing food, excellent food. We enjoy going over there after we do our show here and go spend some time with that quality staff, and the food is excellent and great drinks as well. And let's go ahead and jump right into this content now. So we're here in studio. Coming up on the show as well, we got our top 10. We always do a fun top 10, top 5 list, and today we got the top 10 best states for higher education, and we have a great story in our feel good story of the week and our tell me something good about Arnold Schwarzenegger donating some money to some groups here. So we'll talk about that in our feel good story. So let's start off with the maestro is in the house, Mr. Matt DiMaio. And Matt, so you teach a lot of different techniques and strategies to learn things faster and also improve your memory.
Exactly. School tells you what to learn, but rarely do they teach people how to learn it. And sometimes school teachers may take a little bit of umbrage with that. But the bottom line is, how many times have you heard somebody, they'll maybe wag their finger at you and say, pay attention. Yeah. And yet, have you ever taken a single course in how to pay attention or how to focus?
Wow.
Or they'll say, hey, listen to me when I'm talking to you. And every sales trainer in the world talks about how listening is such an important skill, but almost nobody has ever taken any classes or learned any technique on how to become an excellent listener. As a matter of fact, for the TBBO, the Tampa Bay Business Owners, that was what my focus was on Tuesday, a little a little seminar I called X-Ray Hearing, how to develop super powerful listening skills.
Like that.
And I call it that because Superman had X-ray vision that gave him the ability to see things normal people don't see.
Yeah.
Super salespeople have X-ray hearing that gives them the ability to hear things normal salespeople never do. And so we talked about the 3 listening landmines. What are the things that blow up your ability to listen? And we gave them a 6-step process on how to be a better listener. And the last part of the process of learning, so you've got focus and concentration, you've got listening skills, but you know me, and a lot of people know me, for the memory and retention and recall stuff that I do.
Yes.
And a lot of people are out there teaching generic technique about remembering this, that, and the next thing. But what I do is really focused. For example, I teach how to remember people's names.
Yeah.
My book on the subject is not only available on Amazon, it's also here in the Hillsborough County Public Library system.
I like that.
And, you would think that the ability to remember people's names would be something they would teach the very first day of kindergarten. Okay, children, today you're going to learn the names of the other little boys and girls you're going to school with.
Yeah, I remember in football, Pop Warner football, we'd put the name on the front of the helmet. For the first couple of weeks of practice, and say, "Hey, Rhymes, get over here for that drill." And so
it helps everybody bond together.
Yeah,
and you would think, especially in sales, you're going to want to remember the name of the receptionist when you're calling on them, and the names of the different people when you're going back to call on a particular account. And yet, rarely is that a skill that's taught to anybody.
It's the most powerful word in that person's personal vocabulary, right? Their own name, right?
Indeed it is. So if you want people to listen to you, if you pay a lot more attention to them, you'll have a much better audience.
I love that. You got 2 ears, you got the one mouth. We've all heard that. Listening skills, developing active listening, and listening, like Covey said, not with the intent to reply, but to listen to fully understand. That's a big point. And one of my favorite mentors, of course, I talk about Tony Robbins a lot. I've been to his business mastery course in Namale, Fiji. Been, West Palm Beach for his different events, Orlando, walked on fire. And so when he does a lot of his talks nowadays, I've seen he was on Oprah. He was on one of her big conventions she had. He walks out there and he says, and it kind of reminds me of our show where we talk about credit. We weren't taught credit in school. We weren't taught nutrition in school. But when you go into the classroom, do they tell you, what's the first thing they say? Come in, sit down, shut up, right? In business, if you do that, if you sit down and shut up, you're out of business, right? So you got to learn how to listen and understand and create and initiate conversations with people, especially if you're in sales.
Absolutely. And, you talk about the idea of 2 ears and 1 mouth, and usually that's all that passes for training on the subject of how to be an excellent listener.
Right.
But I actually teach a 6-step process to be able to listen your way to the sale.
I like that. So listen your way to the sale. Coming up on our next segment, we're going to talk about that with Mr. Matt DiMaio. We're also going to bring Fred Muth into the conversation, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. And also we're going to be talking with, hopefully John Grant will be here with Eagle LED Lighting. He is expecting him. We're expecting him in studio as well. I want to let you know about a hot listing I've got here with Platinum MVP Realty. As you know, I'm the owner of Platinum MVP Realty. I'm a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay. We've got a property here, 8203 U.S. Highway 301 South in Riverview. This is a great opportunity to buy a commercial asset with an operating restaurant already in place. And it's a great commercial property. It's a downtown Riverview location, corner lot, and it's almost 2,700 square feet on 0.7 acres. So it's a great opportunity. 8203 U.S. Highway 301 South in Riverview. And we've got about 40 other listings. We'd love for you to check out our website, platinummvprealty.net. Check out platinummvprealty.net. And if you're a buyer, if you want to find a foreclosure list, we would give you a foreclosure list. We've got waterfront properties that are foreclosures right now, cash opportunities. Just submit the form at consumerqb.com. Just submit the form. And when we come back, more from our expert contributors, and we're going to be jumping into our top 10 best states for higher education. Giving a shout out to the Maids Cleaning Service. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. 24-hour, 100% satisfaction guaranteed by the Maids Cleaning Service. They are referred for a reason. We'll see you after the break.
Hey everybody, I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, quarterback show, former USF football player. I played on the inaugural football team at the University of South Florida. Go Bulls. Real excited about an upcoming football season. And longtime quarterback on my sports teams, and now I'm quarterbacking transactions for our sellers out there. We are looking for inventory for Platinum MVP Realty. We've got several families looking to move into the area that we cannot find homes for. There's just a lack of inventory. So if you're a homeowner out there and you're on the fence, you're thinking about potentially selling your property, we would love to talk to you. It's a great time to take a look at a comparable market analysis. We'll do a free comparable market analysis for you. So all you have to do is text the word value to our consumer advocate hotline. Go ahead and text value if you'd like a free comparable market analysis at 813-670-7372, and just give us a call or a text at 670-REQB. And of course, you can submit the form through consumerqb.com. That's our website, consumerqb.com. And we're back here in studio helping you win in any marketplace, making you more street smart, giving that helicopter view of the marketplace. And we want you to think about this show as the hub of your financial, your business, your health wheel, and each spoke extending out representing another one of our 80 plus show partners here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So we're going to help you win, and whatever you need. Like last week, we had a lot of calls. We had credit improvement questions about credit. We had some renters that wanted to know, hey, how can I get into a real estate property? I've been renting for quite some time. I know that renting is throwing money away. I'd like to get into home ownership. All you have to do is reach out, and there's ways that we can help you. We've got a lot of potential legal advice for you as well. We've got 4 or 5 different attorneys that are associated with the show. And we're going to help you win. That's the goal here. And so back in studio here, Matt DiMaio is in the house now. He's the founder of the Maestro Method. And also we have Fred Muth as well. He's Tampa Screens and Aluminum here in studio as well. So going back to Matt now. So Matt, we were talking, we left, we kind of teased a little bit there. We're going into, what was our next point we were talking there? I forgot where we left off.
Well, listen, with the Maestro Method, I teach 3 basic techniques, and it's all about how to learn and absorb information at very accelerated speeds.
Okay.
There's 3 things that a person needs to be able to do to be able to learn everything and anything faster. Number 1, they need to be able to focus and pay attention. Very few people teach it. Number 2, they need to be a good listener. Everybody talks about it. Nobody teaches any technique on how to do it. And the third thing is you need to be able to retain and recall information at the moment you need it. So these are fundamental, basic building block skills. I call them master skills, and that's why I call my system the Maestro Method. Maestro being the Italian word for master. So master skills to being able to learn things fast. And I've been doing this since 1979.
Wow.
Back in those days, I was running a chain of computer programming schools when the world was still on punch cards.
Wow.
And I began to teach some methods. I researched the subject of how students learn. My students at my computer programming schools did very well. When they went off and got jobs, because they actually knew what they were doing, the companies that hired them noticed that my students did better on the job than students from competing schools. So I began to get calls from the companies that hired my graduates, and I began to do seminars initially for the data processing community, for the DPMA, for the ASM, and I began to do after dinner and lunch and speaking engagements that I thought it was cute. I called it How to Give Yourself a Mind Like a Computer.
Nice.
Where I would do demonstrations, and they'd have 50, 100 people at these dinners. I'd call everybody in the room by name. I'd memorize a deck of playing cards. Wow. I'd hand out a copy of Time magazine, and they'd say, what's on page 74? And I would tell them, and I would do stunts. Yeah. And that led me into actually developing courses and developing materials for businesses. Because
I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah.
I've seen it firsthand. He remembered there was a gratitude party that we had, probably 30 or 40 people in the room, and each person, he said, okay, stand up when I get your name, and then each person at the end of the room, it's on our Facebook feeds, you can see that, and then you taught my daughter how to say the alphabet backwards last time, and she loved that. That was great.
Thank you. Yeah, and right now I'm focusing on helping companies build their sales forces. But my true love is really to be able to help parents and grandparents with their little kids.
Right.
to be able to give them the skills to be really brilliant.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, because a lot of it starts at that learning at the young age, and you're developing those habits and the focus and the power. And then, you hear the studies, too, about these smartphones. Should we give them to, the number I hear that's a good cutoff is like 8th grade. Prior to 8th grade, do they really need a smartphone? Do they really need iPads to be staring at and, getting looped into these Musical.lys, and kind of Musical.ly is the almost like a Facebook for kids. They're putting in those little music things. So you look at that, and there's studies out there. There's some studies, and I've even saw one last week that was for some of the Silicon Valleys. All these CEOs and executives, they're the ones pulling their kids off the smartphones.
When you take a look at it, it's become an addiction.
Yes.
You take a look at social media, and it is deliberately planned that way. I mean, and advertisers love it.
Yeah.
But is it really good for your kids, especially at that young age?
Exactly. I think not. I think there was also a study we were talking about where the development of the brain changes because they're looking at the images, and the blue light is coming into their mind, and it's just totally, it's against the way that we were for history, from history all the way till 5-10 years ago. It's changed that up. So I don't know. It's kind of a controversial thing, maybe. If you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes here. We got Matt DiMaio in studio, founder of the Maestro Method, and awesome at teaching you how to learn skills, remember things faster, learn things faster, and absorb. And I like what you said also, which we hear this as well, Matt. But you talked about drawing an association to something that you remember, especially when you meet somebody or that type of thing.
People love to use the word association. If that was a good word, people's memories would be better. The word that I choose to use is connection. There are really two things that your mind does all by itself, and it does it naturally. The way God built us is, number one, our mind makes pictures. We call it imagination. The second thing our mind does is it connects things together. And that's what people call association, the process of connecting things. Watch a little kid. Watch when you're teaching a little kid something brand new. They'll say things to you like, you mean it's like?
Yes.
It's like.
Yep.
Well, the whole thing about like means they're already trying to make a connection.
Yeah.
So what I do is I teach people very deliberate strategies, very deliberate techniques to be able to make images in your head really fast and be able to connect them to what you need. And as a result, everything that you have an interest in learning is much faster. We live in a world of information overload.
Yeah.
If you don't keep up, you get left behind.
That's right.
And this really affects you if you're in sales, because your ability to be productive is directly corresponding to your ability to be able to learn product knowledge, learn closing techniques, learn sales presentations, and transfer your, not just your content, but the emotion of what it is you're selling to somebody else. So it's a process of learning and teaching and learning and teaching.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why
listening to that prospect, asking open-ended questions. When I had Tom Hopkins on the show, he said you want to be a master asker. If you ask the right questions, and you listen properly, you're going to hear what you need to say next. It's a follow-up. And whether you're listing real estate properties for sale or you're selling, whatever type of product you sell, that's an important aspect to think about. You definitely want to understand, and we've all heard in the past too, you sell the benefit, talk about that. But, underlying questions, underlying concerns that may not be directly expressed by the prospect, that's going to be something that you want to pay attention to. So Matt DiMaio coming up as well. We also have Fred Muth coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Tampa Screens and Aluminum representing as well. And, this is, an interesting talk here, this first segment. And when we come back as well, we're going to offer some free samples out. So hang around. Matt DiMaio is going to offer potential free samples, ways that you can find out more about his strategic. I love the strategy of the way that he's teaching and learning and the whole habit loop: focus, listen, and retain and recall more. And we do know that the mind works as pictures, so we're going to talk more about that as well. Giving a shout out to Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora on beautiful St. Pete Beach. Now, this is our official hotel partner down on St. Pete Beach. It's the first new hotel built on St. Pete Beach in decades. Spanish ancestry, whitewashed Mediterranean palace. You got a boat dock there. If you're a boater like me, pull your boat up. You've got the pool and spa area with the bar. The Castile restaurant is amazing. On-site restaurant, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Now, if you go stay at the Kiptons, the Hotel Zamora, make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and you're going to get a 10 to 20% discount off of your room stay, depending on when you book that. So make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and continue here with the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
This is Ward Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty. We'd love for you to check out PlatinumMVPRealty.net. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.net. If you're thinking about selling, we would love to talk to you. And it's Intelligent Talk Radio here. I got some intelligent folks here in studio with me. Some great content coming up for you. And we want to give a shout out to Felicia Lacaille with Healthy Gourmet, organic veggies, natural proteins, delivered fresh 3 times a week. This is a healthy meal delivery service. Plans starting at $90 a week. Optimal fuel, optimal performance. Shout out to Felicia Lacaille. She's the CEO and founder of Healthy Gourmet, and I love it. Monday, Wednesday, Friday roll around. I've got a brand new order of food, organic, natural foods, and what else do you have in this world if you don't have your health? So that's why I invest. It's only $90 a week. You get 10 meals a week, so you can't cook it and make it and prepare it for less than that. So it's all great food delivered fresh to your home or office. Check out Healthy Gourmet at ConsumerQB.com. All of our show partners are listed at ConsumerQB.com. You can also submit the form, and an email will come directly through to us as well. If you're a business owner out there, you're thinking about, hey, I want to grow my sphere of influence. I want to grow my celebrity. I want to grow my business. Reach out, ConsumerQB.com. We're going to show you how we're doing that. And in studio today, we got Matt DiMaio. He's the founder of the Maestro Method. And we also have Fred Muth here, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, and longtime friend of the program as well, Fred. So, thanks for what you're doing with the show. And man, the economy's great. Tampa Bay's on fire. We got about 650 people a day moving to Tampa Bay, another 1,000 or so moving into Florida. So the economy's popping around here in Tampa Bay.
I was thinking about retiring. They won't let me. It's not going
You're
to
too
happen.
valuable, man.
Plus, I have too much fun with it. Okay.
Yeah.
Richard Pulse, he owns the company. Don't tell him I'm enjoying what I'm doing. He'll cut my commissions. Please.
Okay. Yeah. Richard's a great guy. We met a while back over at Hulu Bay. We had some lunch there. Richard and his son's still in the business too.
Yeah, his son is starting to take over. It's
Nice.
son. I saw him the other day, and I'm thinking you have a lot of energy. You should see the energy this guy has. Ooh. Makes me feel like a slow guy.
I like that.
But, we're on fire. Things are great. We sell the work. We enjoy it. The enjoyment of my job is basically to come to a customer's client's house and let me go and design what I think they want.
I like that.
To try to find a budget number. And I just get a real thrill out of that. And, selling the job, building it, et cetera, is one thing. But when I can design it and make it work, make it look good, I can see the job the minute that I walk up to the house. But
yeah,
so it takes my effort to make my client see it the way that I see it.
Yeah, I love it. And tell us some success stories. I know you've had some really unique where they don't put the concrete slab, but they'll have like vegetation, but they still have the screen room around that.
Yeah, I've done several of them, and I'll walk in to see the customer, and they're new in the area or whatever, and they just don't like the looks of a solid slab or a paver deck.
Right.
They want vegetation.
Yeah.
And I've done several that they look so nice, Brandon, when they're done. I've got photos of these, and I come back a year later when everything's growing up. And a lot of this vegetation, it really takes off with the reduced ultraviolet coming in.
Yeah.
In some cases, we'll put what we call a 20/20 fabric on the top, which knocks the UV down about 25%. And this way, different plants can grow in different directions, and it's very nice. And then what I like is, they'll come in, they'll backfill with some stones for drainage, and then they'll put some paver blocks to walk around.
Mm-hmm.
Just a very unique situation. I get to see the standard product all the time, so that when I get to see something unusual, like a garden area built under a cage, it's very impressive.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. In business, we talked about, you've heard different stories. This was a couple years back where, you kind of have work and then you have the office. So they called, they were calling Starbucks kind of like that in-between place where people would go and pop their computers up and have a latte. And then, so when I talk with Fred here with Tampa Screens and Aluminum, I think about the screen room and that addition that you put on these beautiful properties, single family homes, condos, townhomes, kind of that in-between space between your home under air and your outdoors where you got the mosquitoes and the other fun stuff.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that you present that as well in your real estate business, because that's exactly what it is. It is the in-between space.
Yeah.
At our house, obviously I'm in the business, so I have a massive enclosure on the back. And when I walk in, the dogs follow me out. I go out on that patio, even if it's hot, whatever. I turn the fan on. I sit there. I enjoy. I relax. And, I'm able to look out back and see the plants, everything growing. Go back inside, it's the same thing. Air conditioners hitting you, TV's on, same old story.
Yeah.
Let me go back out on my patio. My wife says, why don't you come in? I go, you're around patios all day long. I know, this is what I do.
Yeah, kind of, enjoying that outside space where it's less distractions. It's less of, what we were talking about in the first segments with Matt, is we were talking about, the distractions, the electromagnetic, radiation coming at you.
It's coming at you.
Yeah.
By the way, Matt, tell me if I need some help here. Okay. I meet a customer, a client. I talk to them. I associate the face with the size of the job.
The face with the size of the job.
No. What do
How does that work?
Can you help me? I ran into a guy the other day, and hey, Fred, how are you? He said 28 by 12, 2 doors and a kick plate. How's the missus?
28
Can you help
by
me?
12. 28 by
that's
12.
perfect.
Yeah.
I love it.
But I do. Honestly, all kidding aside, I truthfully associate the face with the actual project. The names escape me sometimes. Quite often.
Are you looking for a solution?
I'm looking for help.
Yeah. It's a lot easier than you think. What your mind does naturally is it makes these types of connections. You were joking about the type of connection that you made before. Mm-hmm. But if you have a brother or a sister and you meet somebody with the same name as them, you don't really need to use any technique at all. Instantly, your mind says, oh, your name is the same as my brother's, the same as my sister's,
right,
or my mom or dad. That's something your mind does naturally. What I do is I teach people how to do it on purpose.
Yeah.
So if I asked you to name some famous Freds. Name a famous Fred.
Fred Gwynn.
Fred Gwynn. I think of Fred Flintstone.
Shh, don't say that. That's my nickname.
Fred Durst has came to my mind.
There you go.
He's a singer or something, right? Fred Durst.
Yeah, okay.
Fred Durst. Perfect. So you rock and roll.
Yeah.
So now, you may not know somebody by that name. So my name, Matt. Well, you can be a welcome Matt. And by the way, I am always a welcome Matt.
There you go.
Or a wrestling Matt. And in high school, I was a wrestling Matt.
Yeah.
And I got a buddy of mine from Montreal that used to call me Matador. And I said, yes, Matt adores the girls and the girls adore Matt.
There you go.
Boy, this guy's got the answer.
I like that. Yeah, it's all about the association. It's how you, and I like what you say too, Matt, in your presentations. It's about caring about it. You know, I remember reading the first chapter of your book. It's like, you know, number one is you actually have to care about understanding.
You know, there's 3 reasons that I call the 3 causes of forgettery. And, you know, people love to talk about memory, but what causes you to forget stuff? And the one you just mentioned about not caring is actually the second one. The first one is that you don't get it in the first place. To forget is to not get. So you're at a party or you're on a job, Fred, and you're more interested in, you know, taking a look at the size of the space you've got to spec out. And you don't really get the person's name. Or maybe they've got an unusual name.
Yep.
And you don't quite get it or you don't understand it. So if you don't get it, you can't keep it. The second one is you've got to care. Now, Brandon, you having been a top-notch quarterback for a famous school, you probably are still a big football fan.
Yes.
And so I'll bet you can name all kinds of statistics and football. And yet, I know people that are great at remembering all kinds of sports statistics, forget their wife's anniversary, forget their wife's birthday.
What really matters, right? And they get in trouble when they do that.
You can only remember what you want to remember.
Yeah.
That's bad news.
But the third one is really, the third cause of forgettery is that you don't believe. And people poison themselves. They say things like, oh, I'm terrible at remembering names.
Right.
Or I'm no good at that. Or I always remember a face, but I never remember a name. And that actually short circuits your whole process. Because if your attitude is, I believe I can't do it,
Yep.
then you're not going to bother to get the name. You're not going to bother to care.
Yeah.
And so you beat before you start. So if you understand what the problem is and what's causing the problems, you're about halfway to solving it.
Yeah. Whether you can or you can't, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're usually right both ways, right? Yeah. So it's interesting stuff there. And so if you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're talking with Matt DiMaio. He's the founder of the Maestro Method. We got Tin Man, aka Fred Muth, the Tin Man here in studio, talking about Tampa screens and aluminum as well, adding these additions onto your real estate properties and having that kind of that in between spaces we talk about, especially with the mosquitoes and the different things out there. So when we come back, let's jump into, we're going to do our top 10 list. We're going to have the top 10 best states for higher education. We're going to talk about that. And we also have a feel-good story of the week in our Tell Me Something Good segment. So stay with us. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
Welcome back. Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. Climbing that corporate ladder or throwing a ladder in your truck, we don't care which way you're at. We're going to help you win no matter what you're facing out there. And we want to make you just a bit more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show and give you that helicopter view of the market, all things in Tampa Bay and actually the Gulf Coast region of Florida. Our signal goes all the way down to Naples, Fort Myers, and up toward the Panhandle, out toward Orlando. And we're helping you win. You can find our show in multiple places. We're on Facebook, Brandon Rhymes PA, on Twitter at Brandon Rhymes 1. And check us out on our TV show as well on WeBeam TV. It's daily at 10 a.m. on WeBeam TV. And you can also stream it live from our website, consumerqb.com. And our hotline number is 813-670-7372. Give us a call or a text at 813-670-7372. And also, we want to give a shout out to Signature Massage and Facial Spa in Tampa. Are you looking for a place to get a massage or a facial at an affordable price, but without having to sign up for a membership? Look no further. At Signature Massage and Facial Spa, they offer a 1-hour massage at $49.95, always no contracts. And you come in early during the early bird hours and you'll receive an additional $10 off. And there you'll receive a professional massage at a great price. For those muscles and knots that need extra work, ask about getting a deep tissue or sports massage. And if skincare is what you're looking for, they have amazing facial and microderm packages. Check out Signature Massage and Facial Spa, 11248 West Hillsborough Avenue in Tampa, or give them a call directly at 813-925-8898. 925-8898 to schedule an appointment. And make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and you are going to get a 10% discount off of your first service. And use the coupon code RELAX as well. All right, here we are in studio. Brandon Rhymes. I'm the host, owner of Platinum MVP Realty, and a top listing agent in Tampa Bay. We're talking with Matt DiMaio. He's the founder of the Maestro Method. We also have Fred Muth in the house, a.k.a. the Tin Man for Tampa Screens and Aluminum. And we got our top 10. Let's go ahead and jump into our top 10, fellas. You ready to do this? We got our top 10 best states for higher education. So every week we do a little bit of a guessing game, top 10 type of deal. So let's see where you guys can let's start us off here, Matt. Top 10 best states for education.
For education, this is just going to be a wild guess, but my first guess is Colorado.
Colorado is actually on the list. Yes, very good. We've got a Colorado coming in at number 18 as a national rank. It's in the top 10 in terms of higher education at number 8. And pre-K is number 30. All right, Fred.
It's got to be New Jersey.
Let's see if Jersey.
Hey,
Jersey.
how you doing?
How you doing?
The Jersey boys did make the list. Sorry about that.
I'm always the guy that gets the buzzer.
Sorry, I had to buzz you. Matt, let's go again.
I'm thinking Ohio.
Ohio. You would think that would be a good one. You would think that would be on there. Sorry, buddy.
Oh.
Back to you, Fred.
Let's try Arizona.
Arizona. You guys are buzzing today. We're buzzing you a lot.
We're
all right,
so we're rocking and rolling now.
Right? So what about where we're at here in our beautiful state? So Florida's number 1 on the list. So higher education, number 1 in Florida. Now, I know what you're thinking. You've heard, hey, we're lacking in education. So pre-K to K to 12 is actually number 46. So we're low as far as K to 12, but higher education, we're ranking number 1.
Here in Hillsborough County, though, they've got some really good schools. My daughter attends Plant High School. She's a junior over there.
Yep.
And I think that Plant High School is doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, Pinellas County has some great schools as well. And so you look at it, you look at, hey, are we doing the prep schools? Or, that's a whole decision you have when you go through. I grew up in a small town, a little, country town out in, east of Fort Myers area. So, I felt like our education was good. I mean, it was average, I guess. But so let's go through this top 10. So Florida, number 1. Number 2, we had Utah coming in at number 2. California, number 3. Wyoming, 4. Washington comes in at 5. That's the state of Washington. You have North Dakota, number 6. South Dakota, number 7. Colorado was guessed by Matt. And you have Nebraska, number 9. Virginia, number 10. So that's ranking as far as higher education. So I guess that's a little bit lacking there. One that really jumps out to me is that we don't have Massachusetts on here. Yeah. You think about Massachusetts, you think about a lot of those what do you got? You got Harvard, Boston College, you got MIT, a lot of those schools right in that same group. So, we always do our top 10s, but we have fun with that, just to, just kind of guess it out there and have some fun. But we're always thinking, man, there was some, like the albums were left off, John. Last week we had, a lot of the albums that we thought would be on there were left off. But hey, who did the study, right? That's what you talk about. All right, so we're going to jump into our Tell Me Something Good. Every week we want to give you something good.
Tell me something good.
All right, so we got Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold donates $100K to an anti-hate group, Ask Americans to Unite. Arnold Schwarzenegger has donated $100,000 to help a Los Angeles-based anti-hate group, Simon Wiesenthal Center, in the aftermath of the Charlottesville violence. I have been notified of the horrible images of the Nazis and the white supremacists marching in Charlottesville, and I was heartbroken that a domestic terrorist took an innocent life. My thoughts and prayers are out with the families of Heather Heyer, Lieutenant Colin, and Trooper Pilot Bates. And later on in the article, it says, United, we are greater than hatred, what we saw this weekend. Rabbi Marvin Heyer, founder of the Wiesenthal Center, said Schwarzenegger has been a supporter of the organization for more than 30 years. We have never been prouder of his leadership than we saw in his last tweet last night, challenging everyone to do more in the fight against hate, Heyer said. So a feel-good story there. So any comments on that? Anything want to add on there? Yeah. And a lot of times with these rallies too, you hear like, well, you've got the billionaires that will plant people in there to do these, to do the horrible acts. We saw a lot of it during the political scene. You had different banners, who paid for what, right? It's pretty crazy the way that goes sometimes. But
such a setback in our country's history.
Yeah,
it's just, we nosedive when these things happen.
Yeah, it is. Yep. And on the most part, it's the media that's perpetrating this stuff happening. It's the mainstream media that is. It's not talk radio, but yeah. So, anyways, let's jump into our lightning round. Our lightning round here coming up.
The lightning round.
I am so good at lightning rounds.
I majored in lightning round.
All right, lightning round. Top tips, things to do, things to avoid, nuggets of advice. Matt DiMaio, you're up first.
Well, I recommend that everybody follow my belated little grandmother's, my Italian grandmother's 2-word mantra on how to learn everything and anything faster and better.
Yes.
Pay attention.
Pay attention. I like that one. I love that.
It's very nice.
Yes, I like that. Fred?
It's always a tough act to follow here. This guy, he's got me beat, but that's okay. Let's talk patios, pool enclosures. Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, please ask a lot of questions when you're bidding out a project. There's no question that's ridiculous, even redundant is fine. Don't ask it after it's built. Just kidding. But we love the questions. We welcome the questions. When I meet with a customer, client, and they have a list of questions when I walk in the door, I know that this is a very good prospect, because they've done their homework and they want to know exactly how the job's going to turn out. No surprises on the back end. As a homeowner myself, there's nothing worse than having a surprise on the back end. And we just went through a situation at home there where we tried to rebuild a couple bathrooms. Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's still not done. It's my wife and I, we've been together 30 some odd years. Separate bathrooms, that helps, right? But now we're down to one bathroom. Oh, not good.
Yeah, that's challenging. There's a challenge
Very
there.
challenging.
Yeah. I'm going to go off of what Matt talked about too earlier. I'm going to add one in here, is the power of focus. Where your energy flows, where your focus goes, your energy flows. And what we focus on, we feel, regardless of its whether it's true or not. So that's why sometimes you can go to the same concert or the same movie. Two people walk out, they have completely different experiences because of their programming, the way that they felt, the way that they saw that. So what Tony Robbins says is you want to think about anytime you feel one of these three: loss, less, or never. So anytime you feel like you lost an opportunity, you're going to have less of something because of something you failed to do or someone else failed to do. You want to make sure you stay away from the word never as well. So if you ever feel like, oh, now that this happened, I'm never going to be happy, I'm never going to have that business opportunity, don't allow yourself to be fooled by that. Shift your focus immediately back to gratitude, back to being in a beautiful state. So there's my nuggets of advice here. So Matt, do you offer free samples? That's something we've had some folks hitting us up on Twitter right now asking about that.
I do, and I appreciate you asking. And for your listeners, I do in fact have 3 free videos that I'm giving away. I'm not selling anything there. Come to learneverythingfaster@gmail.com. just send me an email with the subject line info, learneverythingfaster@gmail.com. And what I'm going to send, you mentioned about how I taught your daughter how to do the alphabet backwards.
Yeah.
I've got a cute video on that.
Nice.
It's a great party trick. It's cool to do. School just started. I've got a great video on how to absorb textbooks like a sponge.
Nice.
And for all of your business people out there, I've got a 4-step system called Training That Sticks. It is a big pain in the butt to keep hiring and training people only to have them fall out.
Right.
And so I've got a solution, a very simple 4-step system, Training That Sticks. Again,
that.
learneverythingfaster@gmail.com, and it'll come right into your inbox.
Learneverythingfaster@gmail.com. That's Matt DiMaio, founder of the Maestro Method. Parting words of advice, Fred.
Well, you mentioned hiring. Honestly, we are looking for very good installers. This company is growing. We're behind because we don't have enough installers to handle the work that we had that's coming across the books. But anyway, parting words. Every project requires permitting. Every project requires typically HOA approval. I advise the homeowners to be patient with the permit process and the HOA approval process. It's sort of a governmental agency thing that drags it on, but myself and the other representatives of Tampa Screens, we know how to get through the HOA and the permitting process and make it less painful for the customers, because it really does take too long to get a permit for a screen room these days.
Yeah.
And
I'll talk to the mayor next week.
Yeah,
I'll see what
good.
I can
Well,
do.
yeah, right. I think we're building one for him, and he's trying to get a permit.
Oh, okay.
No.
We'll see what we can do there, Fred. Okay. Awesome. Well, I want to thank all of our expert contributors. I want to thank Matt DiMaio. I want to thank AKA the Tin Man, Fred Muth here in studio, and all of our teams behind the scenes putting this show together. Great team here, and we want you to go out there and please consider committing a random act of kindness. Something as simple as packing up leftover food, maybe leftover clothing you may have, taking it down to your church, taking it with you on your commute to work, maybe handing it to that person that you see on the side of the road that's in need, maybe even buying a police officer or a off-duty sheriff deputy, or maybe even a serviceman or woman, buying their lunch or their dinner. Pick up the tab, be a force for good in the community, pay it forward, and continue to listen to the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to help you win as well in any marketplace. Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.